Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We are the last session before you head out to lunch. So I'm trying to build up your appetite while you are here. And as Tyler, our illustrious, the voice, we call it. He has so many talents. I said, maybe if I speak up. But as he said, this session is focused on delivering a good peek inside of the employment network we have developed in partnership with 3 of our local workforce areas. The session will be broken up into 3 parts. The first part will give you a high-level overview of the employment network of Social Security. And then, so you can just have some understanding of the program, but it is not intended to give you the specifics of the employment network. So it's not expected to walk away fully understanding what an employment network is and all of the intricacies, okay? And we do not work for Social Security. We are certified, however, we do not work for them. The other is the second part will talk specifically to our employment network here in Georgia and what that partnership looks like, and what we do in carrying out the employment network services. The last part is for those of you who are not on board in partnership with us by way of MOU. And hopefully we can stir up that appetite and interest for you to then become partners with us. And Lisa Davis will speak to that and give you some insight of what that looks like. And then of course we'll have Q&A at the end. So for the sake of time, we'll move on. Again, Michelle Mason, and so I will advance my own slides for this. Myself, Lisa Davis, and Adrian. We just discussed the topics and what is the Ticket to Work program. This information will be presented by Adrian Williams. Yes.
All right, Ticket to Work. So everybody probably knows somebody who gets Social Security, have hard time getting benefits. Yeah, I know stories. Yeah. And she's, I got that. Yeah, okay. Ticket to Work is a program from Social Security that is geared towards helping individuals who currently receive disability benefits, either SSI or SSDI, go to work. Because a lot of people are afraid if I go to work, as I used to say, that they say, you go to work, they'll cut the check. And they operate from a position of fear. I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid. We want them to be educated and make decisions out of knowledge versus fear. And that's where Ticket to Work comes in. Social Security has a lot of parts to the program that assist, or they call work incentives, that help them go back to work at whatever level they desire to go to. As an EN partner, we are tasked with trying to find individuals who want to return to work and eventually come off benefits. That doesn't mean that I go to work today, benefits stop tomorrow. We show you how to gradually work your way off benefits and give them the knowledge on how to do that. What's the right way? What are the steps I need to take? What do I need to do to stay out of trouble? Because as we say, and the biggest one, if you don't take anything away, 2 things I want you to take away from when I talk about Social Security. If you do not have a MySSA.gov account, get one. Because we always get those statements in the mail that say, when you retire, X, Y, Z, go online, do that every day. And it's through Social Security. So get that for yourself, get that for people that you work with, okay? Because part of signing up with us and some other programs is having that award letter. They can print that off in their MySSA.gov account without having to call Social Security to get it. So there's a lot of benefits in having that for yourself and people that you work with. The second thing is, when people go to work, I'm not gonna tell them I'm working. It's not a matter of will Social Security find out, it's when are they gonna find out and how much money you owe. And I promise you they're gonna come get their money. Okay, so do the right thing up front, report it so that you can stay out of trouble. Did you have a question?
So my parents are 1767.
They are not even in the equation. Because the second line of this is 1864.
Okay,
They're outside.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Yes,
So
they're outside.
age, okay.
We work with individuals who are not for retirement age. So your parents 67 is, they're above that line. So there is nothing that's going to impact their benefits. They can work on $100,000 a year. So go to Social Security. Once you get your full retirement age for any of us, any amount of money you make does not impact the prior to that, if you're drawing benefits, it will impact it.
Okay.
Okay, and we're speaking specifically to disabled individuals. Once you get full retirement age, you roll over from disability to retirement. So you're in a whole nother class of Social Security benefits at that age. So your folks are fine. Okay, so between 18 and 64, if you're working, you gotta report the income. The impact, SSI, SSDI is different. That's where we come in terms of helping them understand how that works. Participation in this program is voluntary, it's free. We don't call Social Security to tell them, you know, what's going on, like Michelle said. We're trained by them, but we don't work for them. I work with Central Georgia through TCSG, okay? So my goal is to work with that individual. The only caveat to working with me and getting the benefits of what I know is you gotta be willing to work your way off benefits. So there are programs out there where I can work 1 or 2 hours a week, keep all my benefits. That's not this program. This program is geared towards individuals who want to work at what they call substantial gainful activity level that Social Security sets to be above that and have cash benefits stop. The beauty of going to work and getting benefits is a lot of people, a big piece of it is insurance fees, Medicare, Medicaid, okay? Medicare, even when cash stops, you have Medicare for 7 years after you stop, after you go to work and cash stops. Medicaid, you've got to earn well over $30,000 a year for Medicaid to stop. So we can work with you to show you what those limits and lines are to keep that healthcare benefit, okay? ENs, like I said, the services are free, but you gotta come to us. And one of the benefits of the program that I work with, ECG, I work with them doing their eligibility on the front end and then follow up on the back end. On the front end, when people come to me, and Michelle alluded to this yesterday, garbage in, garbage out. It's captured when the person comes in and says they get benefits. That's my entree to ask the question, to talk about the benefit piece and what we can do and what their goal is. So that's how I get them, because I don't just cold call people, hey, this is what I do. I have that entree once they come into our program. And again, getting them in will be more successful for you as an agency. If you get that person in, you train them, they go to work, and I create the benefits, then we're likely to stay employed. So that's the whole goal of this program, is to get people into employment and keep them there, is what we're trying to do.
Thank you. Adrian has tons of experience, just 20 plus years in Social Security benefits knowledge. So we hit the lotto and getting her on board. And I'm very grateful. Thank you. Now, employment networks. There are different models of employment networks. There's a traditional employment network. Nonprofits, independent LLCs can have a traditional employment network, and they're suited to provide more in-depth services, one-on-one services for individuals who are not exactly independent in their job search. Then there's the administrative employment network. They're the folks that are behind the scenes. They handle all of the contracting, all of the procurement, all of the disbursement responsibilities that we have to adhere to with Social Security Administration. So they don't exactly do any of the hands-on employment network services. Then there's the workforce employment network services, and we say that's a full shop. We're able to provide one-on-one, based on capacity of staffing. Of course, we're able to provide training services, employment services, and what we call follow along and follow up services once individuals have reached gainful employment, substantial gainful activity through gainful employment, meaning they've made a certain rate of pay through employment. And for 2022, I believe it's $1,250. Once they hit that threshold, they're considered gainful activity. The type of EN we are, of course, is a workforce EN. So how does the EN relate to workforce? Well, EN services expand program capacity and increase the program outcomes for local areas. Namely, what is one of our main goals for the workforce? Go back to work, right? So we have the same goal. There's a dual goal here. The employment network is set up for individuals to return to work. Our Title I services, our marching orders is get people back to work. So there's a shared goal here. Employment network is looking to have individuals go back to work at a gainful wage. we have MSG, right? And we have certification, et cetera. We have goals, so those goals match one another. So it is not intended for the employment network services to add more to the duties and responsibilities of the local Title I office, but to enhance what you already have in place. You're already doing it. You're already coming into company with individuals that work within this stream. Secondly, the EN has a long-range impact on state income tax revenue by decreasing individuals' dependency on Social Security cash benefits. So what does that mean? When individuals go to work, they come with benefits. When people work, they spend money. Willingly and unwillingly. Unwillingly is first, it's through taxes, right? And then we have the willingly, because they have to, I know for myself, I have to soothe myself all that unwilling money that came out. Just to share if I can. And then we have third here, the third high ranking point of how the EN relates to workforce is services generate an additional funding stream of unrestricted dollars for local areas to support and subsidize program services. And there's a TEGL, a 10, I'm sorry. ETA put out a training employment notice to help local workforce areas to understand once you receive this money, disbursements from Social Security Administration for these services, it's not formula based. It's not counted as income revenue for your, according to WIA legislation, to report back. That money can be used to support your areas that you're not. It's flexible funding, supportive services. You may have an individual who is short on cash from their first day of work until their first paycheck. They need gas to get to and from work. They're short on car insurance. They're short on childcare. They've exhausted their childcare cycle, but this set of funding, which is not formula, you can use it to meet those gaps. And then once you build your employment network services, which we'll get to that later in the presentation, you may be able to afford another staff member and pay that staff member out of this pot of funding. So I'm going to make a joke about this last one. We said, where the money resides. So this is the language that was plucked directly out of the 10 to substantiate what I just said about how participation as an EN also provides an additional revenue source to the one-stop delivery system, etc. You can take this and verbatim, plug it into your local policy once you become one of our partners. And so we will now move on to our model of services as an EN. So this handy chart you see here at the very top of the screen is Social Security Administration, and that is where the Ticket to Work program resides. They present our marching orders. Second in line is the American Dream Employment Network. We use the acronym AIDEN, and so if you hear that name later on, that's what we were referring to, the American Dream Employment Network. They are our administrative EN, they are our contract with the Social Security Administration, and so all of the training, the certification, all of that behind the scenes heavy lifting to become an employment network is handled by the American Dream Employment Network. They are nationally recognized for this. And then we have Technical College System with Georgia, Office of Workforce Development. We are the local administrative EN. So we liaise with AIDEN, who liaises with Social Security Administration, so as to ensure that the local areas that are doing all of that direct services, that is East Central Georgia, Atlanta Regional Commission, and Northeast Georgia out in Athens, we handle all of that liaising with the AIDEN partner so that they can focus on what they need to do in providing direct services to our participants. Was that clear? Okay.
So TCSG provides technical assistance to.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So we have different rules, so to speak, that come out of the Social Security Administration. And so as that information is passed along to American Dream Employment Network, myself, the state EN coordinator, Lisa's nodding over there, I am responsible for catching that information and then disseminating it to our local area partners and ensuring that they are up to speed on everything that comes out of Social Security Administration. They are up to speed on their certifications. We have CEUs that we must attain annually to maintain our certification. So, and making sure that we stay off that red letter list.
We're in compliance.
Yes, because we all know about monitoring and compliance, right? So we have the same responsibility. And Lisa can speak to that later on during her portion of the presentation about what that looks like when it's delivered by us. So those are 3 partners that are out in the field. And so this is a map of our service areas. We cover the state. There's no area in the state that we do not cover. We have MOUs with 3 local areas, but those MOUs cover the state. I'm sorry, Adrian, back there. So the green. She said, I'm sorry, not sorry. But the orange that you see is covered by Atlanta Regional Commission. Atlanta Regional Commission have agreed to cover the entire metropolitan Atlanta area. Thank you. Lisa's nodding, close nods, yeah, okay. But they cover the Atlanta, the metropolitan area. Northeast Georgia, area 9, they cover their area, and they are our only area that does not have a certified work incentive coordinator on staff. I provide that service for that area. Everything outside, 1, 2, 8, 13, blah, 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 for the rest of the state, that is covered by the illustrious Adrian Williams.
Like I said, she ain't sorry.
Adrian covers that. We do so virtually, and we've done this pre-COVID. COVID just proved the fact that these services can be provided effectively virtually without ever having to sit across from a participant. We do everything over the phone, by email. We have Zoom sometimes that for individuals that want to see a face and connect a voice with a face, and that's fine and well. All of our paperwork is completed virtually. All of the PII is secured in a portal that is mandated by Social Security Administration. It does not speak to bots. There is no bridge. There are 2 separate pots. But what we do is duplicate the information that is in bots in our SSA portal. And the communication is consistent. I'll move to the next screen so you can see this. Okay. On your screen, you see the map of what those services look like for our participants that move through the employment network. This is a real clean, nice picture, but it didn't look like this in the beginning. It was a cruise ship. And imagine a cruise ship turning. And imagine a cruise ship not only turning, but it has to make a stop. You know, you go to those cruises with multiple islands? Well, that's what we had to do in order for it to get to this, because it was trial and error, it was new. And again, when Lisa speaks, she'll talk to what preceded the employment network, which was DEI. And so the first stop here is for an individual to engage the workforce system. Literally, hello, ring, 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 I'm interested in services. They fill out the application, and in the application, they disclose the fact that they have a disability and benefits, SSI, SSDI, or both SSI and SSDI. I'll stop for a moment just to make a note. SSI is supplemental security income. It is considered public welfare. You could have never worked in your whole entire life and been awarded SSI because your disability before the age of 18 impairs your ability to learn. Post 18 forward, your disability impairs your ability to earn. Did I get that correct? I got that trick, Adrian. The quick and dirty. And so that is considered public welfare, public assistance. And so that income is not considered income. That benefit is not considered income. SSDI is considered income because it is a benefit that you have paid into, an individual has paid into while they are employed. And so you're kind of banking that money and it's counted in credits. And so if and when, you know, those statements that Adrian was talking about, and this is, if you were to become disabled right now, this is what your reward would look like. That's SSDI. So at this point, that individual not only discloses the fact they have a disability, they disclose the fact that they receive Social Security benefits. You receive Social Security benefits. So would you like to speak with one of our staff or someone in the local area that is versed in this and can talk to you about your benefits and going back to work? I'm gonna lose my check. We just want you to have a conversation. The individual you speak with will be able to better inform you of what that process looks like. They contact the individual. There's a suitability assessment, meaning Do you receive benefits? Are you interested in going back to work? And when you return back to work, do you eventually seek to leave cash benefits? Answer yes to all three, not one, not two, but all three. They answer yes to all three, they are suitable. There's a preliminary suitability. And so at that point, the ticket, the availability for assignment, it's a ticket, meaning they have passage to go through the employment network program. It's checked to see if it's available. With Social Security says, yes, they're not working with anyone else on this goal. You're free to move forward. We then develop a plan. What do you do in your local areas? You develop a plan to go back to work, right? The same thing happens in employment network. Doesn't sound like anything different so far, right? You want to find out if the person is willing to go back to work? Are they looking to reach gainful wages? Are they willing to come off of public assistance or benefits? Yes. Do you want to engage in developing a plan? Yes. Sounds like the same things happening on both sides of the bar, right? So now we're moving forward. The individual then completes a plan. After that plan is developed, they enter services. And of course, we understand that depending upon the local areas, income thresholds and what have you, they have to be eligible at the local area first. Being a part of the employment network doesn't automatically qualify them for, deem them eligible for career services and training services with the local area. That is the local area's processes that have to decide that. And then local EN, point of contact, Adrian for statewide services, Kim Meadows, who covers Area 9 for Northeast Georgia. And then we have Stacy Anderson, thank you, Stacy Anderson, who covers Atlanta Regional and the metropolitan area. They communicate often, all the time, with the local area staff to ensure that we are in step with one another for services. And all of these supportive documents, like this one pager, will be added, if not added already, to the portal for you. But we know that we needed to assist our line staff that are working alongside our points of contact. Because what happens when your peers do not know what you're doing, they can't support you. But they need supportive documents. And so what we did was created a lot of tools and aids, one pager, quick and dirty, so that that intake person on the front end, the career services specialist, I know the titles vary throughout the state, but that they are armed with information, because information is key in this process. Everyone on staff needs to have some understanding of what the employment network's processes are. What is the mandate and what are the processes? And who do I send them to? Because I'm not the person for that. Whether you have someone on site or whether you want to refer them to myself at the state level, and then we'll make the decision about where they would best be served.
I have
So,
a quick question to
yes.
your point. When you, slide before, and you spoke on placing, an individual based upon their local income, you all don't do that part, correct? I'm
a
sorry.
little more. When you say place, you mean employment or
Employment.
place? We assist with
Okay.
employment, but individuals need to be able to move independently through the process.
Right, okay.
And what I mean by that, can we give you a job lead? Can we give you information on how to update your resume?
Okay,
We do not speak to employers on their behalf.
gotcha.
That's
Okay.
voc rehab. In the event that we have individuals that require more in-depth services, intensive services, we call them, that we're not the employment network for them. They would need a traditional employment network or vocational rehabilitation, where there's a host of staff that are on site to help them through the process. And we've done that. We've engaged individuals and had them in our roles, and it turns out they needed something more. And that's okay.
Mhm.
And so at that point, we make an external referral. Lisa's nodding because she's like, yeah, we had to do that, you know, but we tried. Precisely.
Okay.
But we engaged them first and didn't make the assumption that they immediately needed to be referred to GVRA, Georgia Vocational Rehabilitation Agency, or another partner.
And sometimes it takes a couple of months for us to figure that out. They come to us, yes, I'm ready to go to work.
Right.
But then as you're working with them and trying to engage them with our business services team and, you know, giving them leads and realizing that they're not powered up, but there's some pieces that are missing here and there. So it may take 6 months worth of unfortunately working with this person before everyone comes to the realization that this might not be the best fit for you. And trying to convince them to move on sometimes can be a bit challenging.
And Adrian could speak to this one too.
And also part of this is also, we're not in it for what's in it for me, it's what's in it for the person. That's what we're looking at. And I have worked with several individuals from Georgia transplant who had kidney transplants and are looking to go back to work. And a couple of them, one guy that I'm working with right now, and hopefully he and I will get together and do his plan, he's already working. So he's perfect for East Central Georgia because that's, you know, deferring to the money piece of like Michelle said, that's money in the bank. He's working, East Central Georgia will benefit from that. On the other hand, I talk to some individuals who they're in school right now. They're not ready to go to work, but they heard me talk on a seminar and it's like, well, I want to talk to you. Right now is not a good time for you. I'll tell them that. It's not going to be beneficial for you to come off benefits right now while you're in school. When you finish and start your job hunt, I'm here, reach back to you then. So our program is all about meeting them where they are and giving them the best advice for, yes, go to work, or you might want to delay this a little bit from that standpoint. Because again, if you're in school, you need that money for Social Security to support you while you're in school. So your goal right now is not to come off benefits. So neither one, it doesn't allow either one of our goals to come off benefits right now. But when you're ready, we're here from that standpoint.
And looking at also, you had an example where it wasn't beneficial because the individual may have only, if they went to work, they were only going to make maybe $20, $30, $40 more than what they were drawing from their Social Security benefit. And that is not good integrity.
No, it's not. And then the other piece of this, just to throw this in, based on what Michelle was saying, you want to make it substantial enough that they can replace that income. But just to give you, to whet your appetite for some of the incentives that are out there, there's this little thing called trial work period that everybody who gets disability benefits, and it's intended basically, like I said, you try work. I want to try something, see if it's going to work for me. They get 9 months in which they can earn any amount of money and keep their check. But once those 9 months are gone, they're gone. My counsel is to them, don't waste it. Don't go to work and earn a job, because this year the amount of trial work is $970 a month. Anytime they earn over that amount, all it means is they lose a month. Why earn $1,000 a month and use a month when you could earn $5,000 and have the same benefit? So save it until you can get the best bang for your buck. Because again, once all of them are gone, they're gone. And I'm going to tell them that. And then, you know, again, looking at what's in the best long-term interest of the individual. So that's an opportunity to stack cash for 9 months. I'm working and I got a check. Because once the cash benefits are gone, I mean, they can give it back. That's a whole nother story. But again, our goal is not going to be kind of like the doctors do no harm. We're not trying to push you off benefits and put you at a disadvantage. We want you to make this program work for you and to show you how to make it work for you.
Thank you. Ditto. So you heard the information about what we do at local level in the offices and the supportive documents that we have developed with the help of our great communications team. Tyler in the back, thank you. I just get the language, he does the layout and design. This is all branded by Tyler. Thank you. And this is all on our website. So, and included is a one-pager, a lovely one-pager. We call this the overview of the entire program. And then we have, what does the journey look like for a participant as they walk through services? How can partners make a referral? If you're not an EM partner on board already, but you come in contact with someone who is disabled and receives benefits, how do you get them to the right person? That's how you make the referral. You ask those questions and refer them on. And then we have a more detailed one page of what that looks like, but each document also has the contact information for our local partners who are providing the service. And on the end is a short one-pager referral form that was recently developed as well. Okay, so you can have a track record of what you've done, upload it to the portal and VOS to the file, and we all know we need documentation, or it didn't happen. Okay. In this, we've had opportunities that we call that are born out of challenges. Adrian will get up again and speak to that, what her challenges look like in the field, because we've had them.
I have two of these folks, exhausted the trial work period. Lady that I'm working with right now, and she is working, but she is also a trial work period. It's like 2019, so 2 years ago. So her 9 months are gone. And there's a part that's called extended EP, extended period of eligibility. So that lasts for 36 months after trial work period is over with. Her EP ended in January. Extended period of eligibility. Okay. It ended in January. So, and somehow in the Social Security system, things got crisscrossed. So she gets a nice little letter. At that point, she was not working, but she gets a letter that tells her, your check has come off this month. Wait, what? I'm not working. Why are you cutting off the benefits? She fortunately was in the interview process. She got a job that started in February, but again, the letter came pre-work. What's going on here? I get the letter, get in touch with my Social Security contract. She couldn't figure out why the benefits got cut off. She said, I can see where they did it. I don't know why they did it. The only thing we can figure is that EP can get and something triggered, somebody misread something and said, oh, that's no good, let's cut it off. We got to check back. Okay, so that's one of the things that we did with her. Like I said, the trial work period was over with, so that's in the past, you know, and fortunately she's making good money. So we got her benefits back. Granted, it was only for a month because now she's past trial work period, her cash benefits are done. But even with that stopping, if something happens and she becomes ill again, we can do expedited reinstatement to get again her benefits restarted if something happens with her physically and she can't continue to work. So there's all kinds of benefits that are out there, but again, you don't know what you don't know in terms of this. The last we have English language learner. We have a young lady whose primary language is Spanish. Rosani was able to work with us doing the first phone call where she was like the interpreter for us to get her get intake, and I didn't keep one call. But after that, we connected with the service, and my mind is running like my language service, but we connected with a interpreter service that we can do on demand. So it's just like it's I won't say like teachable, but similar. I can do it through my laptop and through my phone. Call them, they'll call her, and before they connected me with her, when I did it, they asked me if I give them a voicemail, what message do you want to leave? So they're prepared to leave the message every time if they get a voicemail. And we went right into the conversation, and somewhere in the conversation, we got disconnected. I called back in, got another person and picked right up. And it's per minute charge, so it wasn't like we had to say, you know, we're gonna agree to do so many minutes a month. So if we don't use it for 2 months, it's okay. We pick it up, we use it. They also do transcription service. Just very, very user friendly from that standpoint. They did an online training with everybody at ECG. We did a video training with them where they walked everybody through how to use it. Each person as an individual user, so we can see who's using it and how many minutes is being utilized. So there's all kinds of tools that are out there that can allow you to do this. The other thing, and we all have that, Michelle and I were just talking, I said, what if I was trying to send an email, Word will translate for you. I typed my document up and translate to Spanish. Popped an email was sent, she replied back in Spanish, I translated to English. Didn't have to go to anybody. So, duh, it was out there, but you know, not something I had to use before. So just a little FYI, it's available, and in Word or Office, it's available.
Opportunities out of challenges. Yes, ma'am.
About work, because I used it before, and the interpretation came off a little sketchy. So instead of saying the mother of someone, I said the joke of the mother. And
Yes.
that's how the interpreter, so with my interpreter, she's like, I read your letter, and right, and you knew what you meant.
Yes.
That was
Right. And, but I mean, and thank you for saying that. So I mean, so the caveat might be to say, when you start off, I am using word to interpret, so please excuse any minor missteps.
Yes. I heard something like that. We had made a visit to a marketing firm, and they were talking about how they had to have specific interpretation for commercials and advertisements when you change languages, because it comes across like that. But what Adrian just said about prefacing, whatever you're sending with that notation, look, we are using Microsoft Word or whatever, and the interpretation may be a little off. Okay. Now, our next screen, we do not have the point of contact here to speak to this, but Northeast Georgia had an individual come in, young lady that had obtained her CNA while she was in high school. She received SSI, but she said, you know what, I want to go to work. I don't want to have this life on these benefits, and I want to do more than CNA. I want to do something, but I don't know what to do. And so our point of contact had her enrolled in Northeast Georgia local workforce area. She went through all the steps for eligibility and enrollment for the medical assistant program, went through training at Athens Tech. She succeeded in completing, got all of her licensure, completed her internship, externship, her licensure. She did really well in the program, this young lady, and she is making $17 per hour right now. Completely self-sufficient at this age. She has her apartment, so we're very proud of that. And in this PowerPoint, there's a link to the video with the testimony from Ken, our local point of contact that you can look at your leisure. Now we're here to Lisa.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about how we got started and how things are going. It's not perfect. It's far from perfect. We still have a long way to go, but you know, it's baby steps. So in 2017, TCSG approached us because they had a DEI grant, a Disabilities Employment Initiative grant, and they needed help spending the money. So they wanted to expand their service area to include Gwinnett and Henry County, so 2 of our 7 counties. And essentially, the purpose of the grant was to, they say, increase the amount of people with disabilities that we use in the centers. Because again, they come into the office, you hear the word disability, and what do you automatically want to do? Oh, you need to go to rehab. That's not necessarily the case. So what we did specifically, we discussed it with Area 9 and a couple of other areas that actually had the grant. They provided us with a job description as to what they were using to hire a person. Because again, we didn't have anyone on staff that was an expert in disability services. And when looking at this, that is one of the things that we say specifically that you need to do. You have to find the right person to actually be able to provide these services. And when we're talking about just WIOA, it could essentially be an existing staff member that has the passion to learn and is looking for us to learn some additional things. But when we get into the ticket to work aspect of it, there are some certifications that you need to do. There's clearance that you need to do, because for me to have access to the AIM portal, it took a good 3 months. Then I had to get fingerprinted. I had to go through OPM to get clarification from them. So it's not something that happens overnight. If you're looking at bringing those ticket to work services in the office, you have to, and that person who is your career advisor that is dealing with AIM, you know, sometimes career advisors attempted to reach out to a person that's there, left a voicemail. That doesn't fly with Social Security. You know, they need detailed, specific information. So again, it's about hiring the right person. We were lucky enough to hire Stacey Anderson, and something unique about Stacey, when she showed up, we were very worried that we weren't going to be able to find the right person. We have been interviewing some folks, and it's like, we haven't found the right person yet. Stacey comes into our downtown offices. She had gotten lost, she was frustrated, but she was eager, and she shows up, and Stacey is actually deaf. she's hearing impaired. She didn't mention that in any of her resume. It wasn't anything that we knew about specifically. So, but she was like, she shows up, she's like, but I read lips. So we can go ahead with this interview. So again, that in my mind, kind of, we had a shift as to, oh my God, how are we going to do this work? How are we going to do this interview? I don't want to offend. Just a lot of things that were going through my mind that I'm sure goes through employers' minds and things like that. So again, we sat down with her. She's a disability specialist. She's been doing this for 20 plus years. So she is our advocate. She loves working with the population. She has a passion for it. So again, we found the right person specifically for this. So with the DEI, again, it was more so less about ticket to work and more about providing resources and information to the staff and career resource centers to let them know, to start having those conversations with them. Just because someone identifies as having a disability, that does not mean, number one, that you can't work with them, that they can't be successful in training, that they cannot go back to work. It's about having a conversation to find out what accommodations, if any, they need, and how can we get those accommodations so they can be successful in training. So I say, they approached us early 2019. We didn't get approval from USDOL until July of 2019. We hired Stacy in August of 2019. The grant ended in March of 2001. And we were like, you know, she was just starting to make a little traction. And then we were like, you know what, we think we can utilize her. So we kept her on staff. So we moved into, where are we now? COVID happened. All services have moved to virtual services. She was just starting to really develop those relationships at the career resource centers, to have them, you know, if you have someone that identifies as SSI, SSDI, send me their name, send me their referral, I'll go ahead, get in contact with them. We went to virtual services, and in the metro Atlanta area, we changed our process so it wasn't as easy for those, the staffs in the career resource centers to send those referrals over to them, because they were learning a new process and they were inundated with this new process and getting it right. So she's still receiving referrals, but she wasn't receiving as many as we were before. And then we made that shift to, this is not necessarily just going to be about folks who are interested in training and Stacey doing the technical assistance and talking about accommodations with them, but we're going to move to the ticket of work, the ticket to work arena, which is where our relationship with Michelle came in. So again, Stacey got certified to become a certified work incentive council coordinator. And again, that is kind of a step up from what a regular career advisor can do, because she can still do all of the career advisement that needs to happen, working with the career advisors to talk about those accommodations and things that they need to have done. But for any of those ticket to work folks that she's working with, they are again separate in some instances from WILA. Not everyone who is in the ticket to work program is actually going to need to go in loss or be in loss. So that's a distinction. We can have, again, those customers and agents that start off with going through training, and then as they are about to come out of training with those certifications, that's when that connection can be made for Stacey, Adrian, to start having those conversations with them about how it's going to affect your benefits. Are you interested in giving up your ticket, things of that nature. So again, sometimes it's two separate things. Sometimes one flows into the other. Sometimes folks just want employment and they're coming directly to Stacey to help out with that, and or they are already employed. We like the ones that are already employed, because that is just a matter. But the hardest part with that is getting them to turn over those check stubs and maintaining that monthly contact with them. So one of the things that we do that we do is, again, Stacy is not an expert on the employment piece of who's hiring. She had, we get referrals from Michelle, but what we have done specifically is we do monthly staffings with our business services team. So, or if she has someone, she'll send a resume over about a week or two before our designated staffing day, and then we talk to, on a monthly basis, anyone that she needs that's looking for employment. And that relationship is going well. But again, it's all about education, because it's a mind shift for our business services team. We have to, every call, remind them, we're not sending you someone ideally that is not capable of work and does not want to go to work. Sometimes we find out, again, what type of work are they looking for, Stacy? And Stacy will say, well, technically they say they're looking to do anything. But we know with that conversation. So again, when we fall into that little niche, business services will say, well, we have this, we have this, we have this, and we have this. So Stacy is like, I think they will be a good fit for these types of positions. So what she will do, she'll take those options back to that customer, to that participant, to find out exactly what if they're interested in, what the possibilities are. And again, that relationship is built there. There are sometimes, we have one person right now, things are starting to bubble to the surface that make us realize that they're not a good fit for this, and or they're not really ready to go back to work. Because anything and everything that you say, if you tell me that I want to go, and this is not an example, but I want to go for the burger at McDonald's and I want to be able to work 3 days a week, and we go back and say, we found you the perfect place. It's right around the corner. I don't think that's what I want right now. So again, there are some things that are surfacing, but what we tell, again, business services, we don't want you to burn any bridges. We are really trying to provide that good referral and those services. And again, we have one person, he actually, business services, they pick up the phone, they call, they have those conversations with the customers just to have that conversation. So we're really trying to build that relationship with business services, our employment services person, as well as the customers, to make it, again, seem like this is a normal customer that somebody would send over. The only difference is that there is a disability. And we're actually starting to receive payments on a quarterly basis. So I think we got about $3,500 back this quarter, and the quarters before it's like $1,500. So we're slowly but surely building a little bank of funds. So that's the awesome part. The challenge with that, again, Aiden came and said, we're going to look at all your files. And they looked at all of our files and they said, what y'all doing? This is, you are not in compliance right now. So we took about 3 months to get everything up to speed. But again, we needed to have that from Aiden to kind of shift the way that, providing some templates and some very specific things of how things need to be done. Because again, if you don't tell me I'm doing something wrong, I'm going to continue to do it the way I think it needs to be done. So now Aiden has said, this is what we need. Michelle said, okay, this is what they need, and we're running with it. So again, it's a slow but sure relationship. Where do we want to be? We need increased referrals. We can't just depend on Michelle to send us referrals specifically for the ticket to work aspect. So what Stacy and I have kind of committed to do probably this second quarter of the year, since things are kind of opening back up, is really putting on shows with different providers and different entities to let them know specifically what services we have available. We're looking at, again, Michelle has a referral, but we're also looking at a digital referral. So again, trying to minimize that paper trail, but then also to, again, if we have a Google Doc or a Teams doc or whatever, Stacy can pull it up, I can pull it up, Michelle can pull it up. And we can say, you know, we received this many referrals and this is what's going on. So we have an actual way to track things. And again, we want to successfully expand to all 10 counties in the metro Atlanta area. We're still trying to figure things out at ARC to expand it, to make sure that everyone is on the same page in the 7 counties that we cover. But then again, we need to make sure what we built at ARC is going to be transferable to the other counties that we have specifically. So, and we've had some interactions specifically. She's had a couple of, she has a relationship that was built, and it's a homeless shelter in Atlanta. And a lot of them are hearing impaired and they want to go into truck driving. And it is something that is possible. They're capable of doing, but you have to get the training providers on board to say, you know, they were quick to say at one point in time, oh, we can't do that. We can't, you know, we can't service someone or that is hearing impaired. And we were like, oh, yes, you can. And oh, yes, you will if you want to continue to receive money. Yes, ma'am.
I actually had a participant when I was working in the local area who was hearing impaired, and he wanted to drive trucks.
Yep.
And we made that happen, but
Exactly.
it came with a strong partnership with that training provider.
Exactly.
It had to be transparent, you know, you had to have those conversations.
Exactly.
And they were willing to put in the effort on their side, while I was
Exactly.
putting on the effort on my side.
Exactly.
And we got them certified.
Exactly. And that's but the issue I think right now with the truck driving schools is they are quote unquote so far behind.
Yeah.
It used to be that they could start a class every month on like clockwork. And now it's every 3 to 4 months if we're lucky. But yeah, again, it's about education, technical support for staff and partners. This is yes, it's a unique population, but it's a population, again, if they've been receiving SSDI, that have proven that they have a solid work history, that they can go to work and they are ready to. But we just have to really prep staff, provide that technical assistance. And again, something that we've been talking about is having something for business services, some type of toolkit specifically for them to let them know, you know, there are some incentives out there for the employers, but you know, the Take the Work program is more of an incentive to us because we get those funds on a quarterly basis. So we have started with the grant, and now we have somewhat of a full-fledged program. Right now, as I say, we have a lot of challenges and a lot of opportunities that we need to expound on, but we are really excited to continue to grow the program and the partnership that we have specifically with the technical college system. You know, at first we were like, well, do we want to be coming in? And then when we see all of the stuff that needs to happen, we know Michelle would have to continue to do all that heavy lifting and all of that other good stuff. But again, maybe, again, as we are building, we may get to a point where it may be logical for it to happen for us, but yes, so.
That's the end goal.
Yes.
That is. Honestly, we hope, I got 5 minutes. I want to apologize real quick, and I have 5 more minutes after that. Y'all, I promise I'm gonna be quick. But the hope, my dream goal here is for TCSG's Office of Workforce Development to act as an incubator. We can be an incubator and help get you up to speed with your knowledge and skills and your capacity so that, of course, we can enhance your services that you're already implementing. And then when you're ready to take off those toddler shoes and put in them hard bottoms and walk out, you'll be able to do so on your own because they're very close. I'll say that because what we can do is teach you a skill. We can't teach you a want. Coming from employment services, I will tell you employment since 1990 something, and that my thing has been teaching you a skill to match your want. Now, you've heard about all of that we've been doing in our with our local workforce EN, which is Georgia WorkSource Georgia EN. But the accomplishments we've had they far outnumber our challenges, I want to say, because with our small staff, we have served over 50 individuals. Not all 50 have gone to work, but they have been provided substantial services in the process. We've been awarded $80,000 plus from Social Security Administration and dispersed it out to local areas. Of that 80,000, 20% off top goes to our liaison American Dream Employment Network. 25% goes to them, 5% goes to TCSG's Office of Workforce Development, and the balance, 75% goes to the local areas. So, again, local area 7 have covered not only their area, but the entire metropolitan Atlanta area. Local area 13, with their 2 certified, well, 1 now certified practitioner, covers the rest of the state, which is massive, through virtual services. And local area 9, they've managed to braid, as you see with the young lady Aaliyah, with the local area services with the adult ed program. Got it, 2 minutes. Okay, shut up, Michelle. We've hosted a virtual outreach network event in October of 2020 in commemoration of National Disability Employment Awareness Month, so that we can then expand our enrollment tracks. And we developed marketing. I'm going to flip through these screens. You can see some of our marketing, and this pop-up banner here now that you see before you was designed by the voice, Tyler. And we rushed to get it here on time so you can have it in front of you on display. And our goals moving forward is to increase those number of MOUs. We want you to become our partner and to increase the employment outcomes and thereby Social Security Administration reimbursements, because we are not reimbursed unless we enroll people and they go to work. Develop a pipeline of beneficiaries. Where are we getting them from? We have to increase our footprint. And we do that by maintaining our integrity and expanding our voice and completing a development of marketing campaign, the print, film, etc. You got you. Now, for you all that are not partners, I want to move quickly and say partner with us. But in order to do that, you need to understand what's in it for you. What's in it is that you then can expand what you're already doing with employment outcomes and gains, ticket payments, flexible funding, and building capacity of your program services. So, and then disability awareness, that your customers that enter can know that everyone is welcome for services, and we make no assumptions. Equity for all job seekers. Those are our numbers. When you have some time, please look at the PowerPoint and look at these numbers. Now, we do know that there's some room for error, that garbage in, if the information is not accurate as it's entered, is going to what? They give us garbage reports out, right? And I hate to say garbage, but that's what it is. You can't use the numbers. And that's in every area. Adults with disabilities, youth with disabilities, dislocated worker with disabilities. Those numbers are jarring to see the difference. Next slide. Milestone outcome. That's where the money resides. This is a outline of what those dollars look like once individuals go to work. The awards, and I can meet with you one-on-one to discuss that. Staffing and onboarding, as Lisa said, you need to have the right person in this job. It cannot be any Joe Schmo. It has to be someone that is designated to this job with these duties and is qualified to go through the certification process and in front of us. I know, Tyler, my time's up. But in order to do that, we need a memorandum of understanding. That MOU will clearly define those lines of responsibilities between TCSG, Office of Workforce Development, myself as acting as administrator and liaison with American Dream Employment Network, and in some cases, Social Security Administration. So all of that heavy lifting, TCSG would be responsible for that, and all of the technical assistance. On the other side of the bar is the local areas and your responsibilities in delivering that direct service to the participants. We gotta show this. Yes. Okay. This is a highlight. If all of what I just said went over your head, there's a video that Tyler developed. Oh, Andrea, you do video, you do print. Tyler handles our print, Andrea Young handles all of our digital media. Okay, but they're a team and we call them our magicians. So if everything that I just said went over your head, it was just so much information because it was a lot. And I know we only had an hour to get all of this in, but there is a video and it is 2 minutes and I will not play it now, but you can at your leisure. And what it will do is walk you through the process of what we do in order for you to become a partner. You attend an informational session. We then look at your terms for MOU. Once that MOU is taken care of, then there's a clearance process for Social Security Administration because, as Lisa said, everyone must go through that is going to touch this program. Social Security, they have no concessions about their rules. You will go through that in order to touch the cases. And then we have our marketing. I'm moving from screen, we got marketing, and these are out, this is our marketing packet. There's a website under development. It is close to near completion. There is a full campaign that we're looking at, not only online, but on radio, etc., public access television, so that we can reach the untapped market. According to Social Security Administration's report in 2019, there are 274,000 plus individuals between the working age of 18 and 64 who receive benefits. Where are they? They're out there, but we need to find a path for them to reach our doors. So I know we have no time for questions and I'm competing against lunch. I apologize. So, but I will say that if you are not a partner, and I'm not putting anybody in the hot spot, but hot seat, but you are in the spotlight. But I would definitely implore you to take the time to look through the information that is in the portal and give me a call. And we can have a one-on-one conversation and you can be as candid as you want to be. Say, I don't know if I said we're out to doing all of that. And that's okay, that's fine. We can take baby steps prior to an MOU because there are other local areas that make referrals that are not in the MOU. And they're taking baby steps. I'm about to wrangle one or two of them. Sign on it. Yes, sir.
Two questions. Does the person have to, chairperson sleeping next to with no previous work history, but they're in school to become a nurse? Would that be a person who would be suitable for the program in this fact they don't have previous work history?
Oh, yeah, our work experience is not tied to this at all. No, no. This is all about going to work and whatever stage they are.
Yeah, follow up and real quick.
No,
I have a question.
no, go ahead. I yield to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'm from the Augusta area, and there is an individual, she works, and she receives either SSI or SSDI, I'm not really sure. And, but she wants to go to school to get trained. However, she was a recipient of GPR. And she's going to need that additional staff to help her complete the training. But I guess she was going through something and she ended her contract with GPR. How would I assist her? Because I'm on the workforce side. So how would I assist her into reestablishing a relationship and, you know, getting services from GPR?
I'll say this, GBRA are not in the position to decline services. Am I correct? They cannot decline services. So there is no honeymoon period to engage and to re-engage in a relationship. What she would do is contact and you would help her to contact. I would be willing to serve as proxy in that process. Full disclosure, I worked with GBRA for close to 12 years prior to coming to TCS. So, and I was manager of employment services in the Metro Atlanta area. So, yes, you can. And I would serve as proxy in making that referral to GBRA and having them to understand that the history is, et cetera. So, just give me.
So she's been trying for quite a while, and I mean, workforce wants to work with
But we also know that she has that other need as well. And it's kind of hard to
That was part of the mission of the DEI grant for dual enrollment.
kind of.
Title I and Title IV is GDRA.
Okay.
And so there is room for that, but the ticket, because she has a ticket, that ticket would be assigned to GDRA to provide that front end of services. What she needs, and it sounds like she needs pretty intensive services. And so once she gets to that place where she's employed and she's reached her vocational goal, at that point, then her case with GDRA would be closed and she would be then referred on back to workforce, and workforce would take the ticket from there and help her to maintain long-term employment. But there's a whole life that happens before that. But give me a call and we can then connect you and her with beyond.
Okay. Sounds good.
Now, if you send, rehab cannot, they're not in a position to
Decline.
decline. So if a person, I guess similar to you, if a person is currently, well, is or was currently receiving services, they get a letter from rehab that says we're closing your case or failure to contact with the fact this person's not been contacted sometime by the agency. What is the recourse? Now, we know she has an appeal, and I did encourage her to appeal, whatever.
She can appeal or she can reapply and have her case to have a new case. CAS is the agency that is responsible for the appeal process. But what I would say is to reapply. The only condition that VR has is that the individual is not only disabled, but they have a goal to go to work. Whether it's through training, whether it's through education, the end goal, every service that is provided is towards the end goal of employment.
Right.
That's it. And so if she is still disabled, which is that the individual is, and still has the goal of employment, that's it. They reply. They do not have the space to decline services. They can close the case, they're gonna reopen once the application is submitted. So
If we were thinking now, if they decline her appeal, then that was.
they are a state agency with the mandate to provide services for the disabled community. Period. That's it. They are. Let me tell you, I'm an advocate. I'm a mother of disabled individuals. I line the phone book for my cubs. Because if you are not in the position understanding your mandate, which should match your passion for serving individuals, you should not be doing it. And I say that in open forum. All of us are here with one goal, to help people to get to their next. There is a gap, we serve as the bridge. And that bridge is through education and resources that grant access. That's it. So no, they don't have the right to be harmed. And you can have me to help the process. And I'm just here to tell you, it is game over. So, I went over, I don't have to watch it, I'm sorry, that's my excuse.